Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I've done a little work. I've kind of finished these 3 leaves, and I'm getting ready to do another leaf for you to show you how to do that. And you'll notice that I undercut all these leaves. I cut in some veins, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 leaves, and then I'm going to go off camera again and finish this, and then when I come back we'll actually get around to the eyes. I did notice on the last little piece of video that the lighting wasn't right and you couldn't see what I was doing, so I'm going to come back and do one for you now and talk about it again, but you'll still have the other part because there is some good information on it. Now once again I'm going to be using a couple of my U-gouges or veiners. I've got this one here that's about 1/8 of an inch, and I've got this one over here that's probably 1/4, 3/16. And if I can use the big one, I will start off with it, but you're going to find out that a lot of times you're going to have to use the smaller one. I'm going to come right out here. I want to leave about a 1/16 margin all the way around, and I'm going to start cutting this in. I'll follow my line that I made. And you'll also notice that I did come back and put my lines in so I'd have a guide, so to speak, to go by. Alright, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to cut this one back this way, like so. And one thing you're going to notice as you do this, there's going to be times you're going to knock an edge off or maybe even knock a piece of a leaf off. Well, I always keep some super glue handy because that is going to happen. In fact, a while ago when I was messing around and working right here, I knocked a chunk of that off. But I glued it back with super glue, let it set a while, and you can go on. Alright, let's see. Can you see what I'm doing here? Alright. There, I'm coming in like this. And then you're going to have to come back, and right around this edge, I want this to be a little round section here. I don't know if you can see that line. I hope you can. And you're going to have to work that area in with whatever you got. Now in this case I'm going to use this number 7, and I'm going to real carefully just try to work around that little corner so I can have that little smooth section right in there. You got to work it down to the level of the other one I did. Okay, like so. And then also you'll notice this area here where that leaf goes back that way. Well, it's the same thing. See, this is going to be too big, so I'm going to come back and take my smaller one, and I'm going to make that little round circle right there, and I'm just going to work it back like that. Now you're going to have to come back and put a stop cut on these leaves because you are going deeper. And when you make that stop cut this time, don't put your knife straight up and down. Lean it back so that you're cutting back under the upper leaf, and that will give you a little bit of an undercut, which will make your carving look a whole lot better. I need to do that on all this actually. And once you do that undercut, then you ought to be able to clean this up. Let me work on it right here a little bit. I see I'm using that number 7 where I can just get in there and dish that out. And then I've got to come back up in here, and I'm going to grab another number 7, which is this little 1/8 inch. It comes in real handy getting in these tight areas that I can't get into with the bigger carving. Come back and cut it a little bit. There we go. Excuse me. And I hope you can see. Let me see if I can turn this where you can kind of see this better. See, I've dished this all out about 1/8 of an inch. And I need to do a little work. I see. Need to bring this down into that. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth in the bottom of it. You don't really worry about that so much. But it needs to be a good continuation as you're coming in. Now I'm going to come back with the smaller one, and I'm going to, I made this with a bigger one. I'm going to come back in that smaller one, and I'm going to do a little bit deeper. Kind of get me a line down in there. Do the same thing out here. And I'm making that even a little bit deeper, giving it a little bit more definition. To come back in here, and I'll end up having to turn it around Get some of that out of there. Turn it around. I'm going to come back out there and make that just a little deeper, like so. Clean up my little bit of mess I made here. Okay. Now then, once I've got that dished out the way I want it to look, then I'll come back and I've changed V-tools. This is about a 3mm V-tool. I'm going to get right in the bottom of that, and I'm going to come on and make my vein. Come back here, and you're going to come back up. Now you'll notice, I think I mentioned it in the other part, but you can't really go all the way out to the leaf with that thing. There's two ways to fix that problem. You can use a small, very small V-tool, like a 1/16, or in this case a 1mm, and push it on, just push it on up in there all the way. Finish that leaf off. Or if you don't have that, and a lot of times you're going to have to come back and clean it up anyway, just with your detail knife. But you want to finish that off and let it run back up under the leaf. You know, where you undercut that up under this upper leaf just a little bit. There we go. And here in a minute I'm going to finish this leaf off, because what I like to do is I like to come back and undercut these upper leaves a little bit so that it shows this bottom leaf is going up under this top leaf. And to do that, you do need to have a very sharp knife, preferably I like a real thin bladed detail knife, because it lets me do what I want. Now what I'm going to do, if you look right here, get it up here a little closer, look right there, I'm going to undercut that just a little bit. We'll come around. Now right back in the corner, you can take your tool that fits and just push it in, and push it in at a little bit of an angle so that you get that undercutting. And then we'll continue that on around like there. Then I'm going to come back with the tip of this knife, and I'm going to stick it in there. I'm just going to slice a little bit out of there. Pop it out. You're just taking a sliver of wood, and what that does, if you can see that right here, I don't know, that creates a shadow line, and it gives the appearance of this bottom leaf tucking up under the upper leaf right there. Do the same thing right here. There we go. And I don't know if you can see how well you can see that, but I've tucked that bottom leaf right under the upper leaf. Now I'm going to have to come up here and kind of do that. Turn this leaf over right here. Now that's something you can actually do the whole carving and do all your leaves and then come back, and that's generally the way I do it. But for the purpose of showing you here, because you're not going to watch me carve all these leaves, I did that so you could see it. Okay, and you just come back and clean it up, and there's your basic leaf right there. Now to finish that off though, there's several things you can do, and you might have noticed up here, I went back, oh, excuse me, you might have noticed, let me get where you can see it. You might have noticed up in this area here that I went back and I took my knife and I ran the veins, ran a good deep cut right down the middle of the vein. And what that will do for you is, of course, allow you to see that a little bit better. And you can also, if you want to, and I did that up there, come back here and take a very little thin slice out of there, like that. Pop that out, and then you can see that vein a lot better right there. See how much you can see that right there.